Mandy, Mandy, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
Okay. Oh, it still won't let me take my video off though.
Okay, can you?
It's saying that because it's been stopped by the host.
Okay, please share your video. Share your video, because I had to use
I
that
I
picture because
can't
someone.
I can't take my video off. I can't put my video on. It won't let me.
I've updated it. You should.
Oh, right. Okay, let me try again.
I've
We will
updated it.
get there, ladies. We will get there. There we go.
Okay, great.
There we
Great.
go. Good evening. Don't
Good
worry. We
evening,
don't
Mandy.
worry
So
about tech
lovely.
problems around here. We don't worry about tech problems. Okay, so I've been told to spotlight myself. I don't know how to do that, and I should because I work in technology, but we're going to go with what we've got.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, and hopefully you can hear me loud and clear, ladies. Great to
Yes, we
see so
can.
many ladies in the room. And Ilary, thank you for the introduction. It was brilliant. Good, good, good. So, as Olere said, I am a style coach supporting women on their journey through their careers and professional lives. And, I focus in on the mindset piece and the psychology of style, as well as helping you dress for your shape, your personality, and your lifestyle, because it all starts with the psychology and what's going on up here. Okay, so we're going to have a great hour of conversation. So, Alera, yeah, let's get started when you're ready.
All right, Mandy, we are ready. But before we even get started, I would like to know, Mandy, how did you get into style coaching?
Oh,
What
good
was
question.
your inspiration? How did you get into the business of
Oh,
styling?
look at these lovely welcomes. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you. Because as Larry said, I'm from the UK. Shout out to the UK. But thank you for the welcome. How did I get into styling? So I've been in corporate for forever, up to leadership and directorship roles. So for me, curating a brand that is impactful and influential has always been really important. But I'm now at a stage of life where, well, I don't mind saying it, I'm 54. So the whole part of getting older, mindset changes, menopause for some, etc., that becomes a real thing. And I just felt that I could support women in terms of their style in corporate because I've been there, right? I've done it and seen it. That's kind of how I got into styling. I'm a qualified stylist. And yeah, that's me.
Interesting. Interesting. And it's such a pleasure to have you here today, Mandy.
Thank you for
Thank you
inviting me.
so much. Thank you so much. It's a
No
pleasure
problem.
to have you here. It's a privilege, in short, to have you here,
Thank
to
you.
have you share your wealth of knowledge and wisdom with us.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's dive right into today's business.
Yeah.
So Mandy, we're talking about how to use clothing to influence perception. And I think sometimes we hear words, right? We hear words, and because they sound also familiar, we think, I know the word. So I always like to ask for definitions for the obvious things, because sometimes you might find deep meanings that
Yeah.
you didn't know about.
Yeah.
So how would you define perception, Mandy?
Perception for me, and probably the definition of perception is how you, the ability for you to see, hear, and experience something or someone. So your perception, oh, thank you. Your perception is fed by lots of different things. So it's all about, yes, how do you speak? What do you say? How do you show up? What do you wear? But people's perceptions are driven by so many things in terms of, experiences we've had, limiting beliefs, our upbringings. So perception is driven by so much. And that's why sometimes it feels as if perception is out of our control. But I'm here to tell you tonight that perception is very much within our control. We can control how others perceive us, and we have an obligation in our careers to do that. right? So we all perceive things in a certain way. It may not be the same as your colleague or your friend, but your experiences feed into your perception. So the only way to make sure that you're perceived in the right way is to do something about it, and you have the control.
Interesting. Interesting. That's quite insightful, Mandy. So from what I hear, you talked about perception. I think you mentioned it in two ways. So there's a way I see myself, and there's a way someone else perceives me.
Definitely. So there's self-perception, right? There are a number of theories around this, and I did want to share some slides, Olere. I don't know if I can do that, if it's gonna work, but I wanted to just share.
Of course.
Yeah, I did just want to share some slides as we move through the content this evening, right? And I'm encouraging you all to take notes, be present, and let me see if I can get to them. Just bear with me. Okay, so can we see that?
Sure, we can.
Great stuff. So self-perception is all about how you see yourself, first and foremost, right? Do you see yourself as capable, as a leader? Do you see yourself as someone who can get things done, as a friend, as a mother, as a sister? How do you perceive yourself? And that will have an influence on how others then perceive you. Okay, so let me just break that down just a little bit more, because the theory
please mute yourself.
We're going to have to go on mute, ladies. We're going to have to go on mute.
Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself.
Okay, so self-perception is how do you see yourself, right? And this is something as leaders, as women in the corporate space, just women in general, you need to dig into how you perceive yourself and understand that at the most basic level, okay? Because when you know how you perceive yourself, you will then show up in the right way to influence the perception of others. So for example, there are a couple of examples here, right? Confidence. If we're confident, we walk into a room with an open smile, a strong handshake, exuding confidence, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And the others then believe us to be confident. Yeah. You also then start, that's a domino effect, because now you're feeling confident. The people you're talking and engaging with are seeing that in you. They feel the confidence coming from you. That's when you'll start to see opportunities come your way, right? People will manage and deal with you differently. Okay. So self-perception, understanding how you perceive yourself is really important. And what I would say is, as I said kind of at the top, mindset is where this all starts. So if your self-perception is skewed, it's not accurate, you have low self-esteem, then your self-perception will influence how others see you. And that last piece there around your brand, please, ladies, if you do one thing, if you take one thing away from this session today, you need to be managing your brand in the workplace, right? How do you look? How do you speak? The tone of your voice, so many things, your communication style, all feed into your overall brand. Okay, so I think that's quite, that's kind of the overarching view, Olere, of self-perception and how it can then influence, have a domino effect in terms of how others see you and therefore treat you, and how opportunities, maybe speaking engagements, etc., can come your way off the back of that. So important. Can you hear me, Olere?
I was muted. So that was quite interesting, Mandy. And I don't want to go ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Because we have grounds to cover.
Yes.
So I don't want to dive
too deeply, too quickly. Yeah.
Point. Yes. Because I know that we'll definitely get to that point. Okay. Please, I just want to implore everyone so that we have a seamless submit so that we can hear everyone. I know some people said I should mute everyone, but unfortunately, I'm having problems figuring out how Zoom is working. Normally, I'm supposed to be able to make someone co-host, but unfortunately, I can't even do that. And I don't know why. So if I mute everyone, I'm going to also be muting our guests.
Can I help you? Can I tell you what to do?
Okay, yes, please. Please.
Help in the room.
Okay, so when you figure out where the mute button is, it should be somewhere. If you're using the PC version, if you're broadcasting from your PC, you should see the participant button. When you click that, you should see mute all.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can mute all.
Okay, yes. You will see the button. There's a check button that says allow participants unmute themselves.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Uncheck that button. If you uncheck the button, nobody will be able to unmute themselves.
Yes, but you know the problem? The problem is because I cannot make our guests.
I know what this is part of the program.
I'm having problems making our guests co-hosts. So once I do that, once I take that option, our guests cannot speak.
No, you will ask them to unmute themselves. You will click the unmute button. You can make them co-host first. Just go to the participants pane where you see all the participants around.
Yeah,
Sorry, you said I should go where? I didn't get
that. Go to the participant pane. Go to the participant. When you click on the participant button, you see the list of all the people in the meeting now.
Yes, I can see that.
Can you locate all the speakers?
Yes.
Okay, beside their name, there's a 3 dots, more like a menu. Click on that.
What I see here is more. I see more options.
Yes, more options. Click on it. It will ask you make co-host.
That's the problem. I can see make host, not make co-host.
It's probably the version. It's probably the version. Something
That's
like
the problem. I can see make host, so it's either she's host or I'm host. And I don't know if Zoom updated.
I'm not seeing them.
I used to be able to make co-host, but I don't know if there's a new update or something.
Excuse me, can you give somebody else the host? Can you give somebody else the host?
If you can give me the
host. Yeah.
If you give me the host,
my assistant is here. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Let me see if I can. Guys, I'm so sorry because I don't understand the update. Also,
you know what I like about them? They're always very respectful. Anytime they see you, bonjour.
Ṣáṣìwà lẹ́nu mute and unmute yìí.
Right. I think
trying to figure this thing out.
That may have done it. It said the host had muted everyone.
Yes, but the problem is they can unmute themselves anytime, but I don't want that
let's hope that doesn't get done. Okay, are we carrying on?
To derail us. So thank you so much, Mandy. You've talked about the concept of perception. In fact, you really dove in deep.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask is,
Yes.
you know, when it comes to the idea of perception, people
Yes.
often find that, or people often have the objection that trying to influence people's perception might come across as manipulative. There's this idea of, okay, me making or trying to influence the way people see me.
Yes.
Is that not fake? Isn't there something fake about that? Why can I not just be myself? Why can't I just be myself and everyone accept me? So what would you say to that? What would you say to someone who feels like perception or trying to influence someone's view of them manipulative?
Such a great question, because I think first and foremost, as leaders, as females in the corporate space, we aim for authenticity. We aim for integrity. That's the ultimate, right? We don't want to appear fake. We don't want to be manipulating. I do not see these strategies as manipulation. What I see them as are tools in your toolkit to help you accelerate your path and your career. We do all the things, Olere. We go, we study, yeah, we update our CV, yeah, we network, we update our LinkedIn profile. We do all of these things to help accelerate our trajectory. These are tools that we use to help us be perceived in a better way, whatever we perceive it to be a better way. So if you want to become a leader, or you want to be seen more as a leadership material, you will dress a certain way. If you want to feel more as if you have more integrity, or more empathy, you behave in a certain way. It is not manipulation at all. But what I will do is caveat this with a big caveat, that it has to be in alignment with yourself, with who you are. Because if you're not in alignment, you're dressing, you're turning up to the office in this great power suit, it's bright red, you've got a Gucci bag, you've got the best shoes, the heels are high, whatever the scenario, if that is not in alignment with who you are, you will feel fake, you will lose integrity, and people won't notice that, because we've just talked about, your own self-representation and how whatever you give off, people pick up. So they will pick up on the fact that you do not feel comfortable in that attire, right? And that it is not authentic. So that's the caveat. I don't think it's manipulation. I think it's using your tools to the best of your ability, and that's what we are here for. Because that's how you learn, and that's how you gain momentum in your career.
Interesting, Mandy. I was actually taking some notes. You talked about authenticity.
Yeah.
And I like the word you used. You said strategy.
Yeah.
So these are strategies. It's not they're not manipulation schemes per se. Yeah. They're strategies, because at the end of the day, and it's something I also talk about a lot. I talk about style being a tool. Style is a tool. And I often give this example. We are people are, there's often some form of closed-mindedness when it comes to appearance sometimes. People have the idea that, what's in my head, that's all that should matter, right? Yes. And I find it especially to be true when it comes to, women that have attained certain heights, right? They have attained certain heights, but at a point, maybe they hit a ceiling, and it's like, I can't move past this point.
Yes.
And sometimes they make the mistake of putting in more work.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to corporate women.
Yeah.
They make the mistake of putting in more work, maybe getting an extra degree.
Yes.
But sometimes there are changes that you need to make, and that's what I'm getting from what you're saying as well. There are changes that you need to make that seem manipulative, that seem vain, but they actually move the needle in your favor.
There you go.
And I also talk about style being a tool, just as money is a tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, your outfit, how you present yourself, is a tool. I don't think anyone works for money per se. Money is just a means to an end. Just the way style or how you look, how you present yourself is a means to an end.
Yeah.
And I like that you kind of summed that up.
Yeah, and it's important, Olere. And I think, you know, it's, if we all cast our minds back to school days, right? What do we all turn up in? We all turned up in a uniform. Yeah, it was never seen as manipulation, but in the school environment, it's all about creating community. Yeah, allowing people to see each other as equals. You know? So style is a tool. It's a way of conveying a message to whoever you're trying to convey that message to. But what you need to do in your career is understand, one, the message that you are trying to convey and who you are trying to convey it to, because that will have a real impact on how you dress, how you show up in the workplace.
Oh, interesting. And there's also something that you said, Mandy. You said it has to be in alignment with who you are.
Yeah.
Could you expatiate on that a bit? When you say it has to be in alignment, because I think someone might be wondering, how do I know something
when I'm in alignment? Yeah.
Right?
And I'm going to tell a little story in a minute, right, of someone that I've worked with who is very much in alignment. And to me, being in alignment is when you dress and you dress, your makeup, your hair, everything about your physical appearance feels comfortable to you. It feels right to you. Nothing feels misaligned in terms of I'm dressing in a way that, you know, that feels, I don't know, I don't want to use that words, but that feels
The speaker has been muted. Mandy, you're muted.
Mandy, please unmute yourself. I was trying to mute the person.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sure.
Great stuff. So yes, so you know, when you're showing up in clothes and dressing in clothes that maybe are too young for you, and you feel that, or too old for you, and you feel that you don't feel comfortable in them, you know, that you're showing up and maybe you've got too much makeup on for what you feel is the right amount. Maybe it doesn't fit with the office environment that you're in. So it's hard to say what's in alignment for one person versus another. But I believe that you will know when you are not in alignment because it doesn't feel right. Yeah, it doesn't feel right. So let me give you an example. So I worked at an organization, well, just around COVID time. And we had a leader who'd come into the office. She'd only been in a number of weeks before COVID hit. And this lady, she dressed the part. She looked great in every way. She obviously had, you know, she'd had expensive taste. You could see that. It was modest dressing also. Her hair was coiffed. Everything was where it needed to be. But when she stepped onto the stage, you could see that the persona she was projecting and what came out of her mouth was congruent. It was in alignment with her leadership style. And I was in awe of this woman because she had managed to align her external visuals to her leadership verbal.
What did you say, baby?
She was saying, and it was very much in alignment.
Yeah, Daddy is helping you to put on your shoe too. Oh, say thank you, Daddy.
Please mute yourself.
Mute yourself, please. And you know, it goes back to understanding who is your message for, and what is that message you're trying to deliver. I hope that helps people in the
Yes, Mandy. In essence, you know what's in alignment with you if you actually look within. So
Sorry,
it's
what's that last bit?
You said, so in summary, I'm trying to sum up what you said.
Yeah.
So you know that something is in alignment with you if you look within.
You look.
It all starts with. It all starts.
It does. It starts in here, right? Do I feel comfortable? Do I feel that what I'm wearing is too tight? Or now, maybe I feel that I need to be wearing a lot of makeup. That's not me. I don't feel comfortable wearing a lot of makeup. An example of myself. You're not going to catch me wandering around the office in a short skirt. That is not in alignment with who I am. It may be appropriate for other people in the office. If you're younger or if you're in a creative environment, whatever, but it has to be in alignment with you as the individual that you are and the message that you are trying to give off. And I think also what I'd say is there's no wrong or right in this stuff. It's not that, oh, you're wearing that, that's wrong. You're wearing that, that's right. It comes back to, is it congruent to the message that you're trying to deliver?
Exactly. And just to add on to what you said, Mandy, you talked about a client of yours. You talked about how her external matched with her, matched with what she had upstairs.
Yes.
And you said it's in line as well with her leadership persona. And I love that you brought up that word, leadership persona.
Yeah.
It's something that I use as well a lot because I think that it all boils down to authenticity.
Yeah.
Right. I think that there's no one way to leadership per se.
Yes.
Right. There are people that are leaders and you can just see that power about them.
Yes.
You can just see that power, that control, that composure about them.
Yeah.
And then there are others that are more, friendly, more outgoing, warm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, no matter your leadership persona, your style should reflect that. That's what.
There you go. Yeah. So if you are in the room and you are unsure, do that deep inner work, right? Do that mindset work around who am I at my core? What is the message I'm trying to deliver here? Yeah. And is my physical appearance, my style reflective of that, right? And it may take you a bit of time to work it out, but it's really important. The alignment piece is key, because otherwise I think what happens when you're not in alignment, you show up in a room lacking confidence, pulling at your skirt, wondering if you look right, not nailing your verbal message because your mind's elsewhere, thinking about, oh, why did I wear this today, right? Those kind of things, so it has an impact day to day if you're not in alignment with how you want to dress and how you want to deliver your message.
Interesting. Thank you.
We went deep on that one, O'Leary. We really
of course,
it needed it.
That's all. I wanted to add something else, but I'm thinking I don't want us to spend too much time on that.
Yes.
But maybe I should just say it anyways. I find sometimes some people make certain objections.
Yes.
When it comes to your style and leadership, your style and success.
Yes.
It's easy for some people to think of people like Jeff Bezos. They say, oh, he just wears a
t-shirt, right?
Yeah. How about Mark Zuckerberg, always in gray tees? So if style is really important when it comes to success, how come these people amassed so much success? The question I would want you to answer is, do you think the metrics are different for men and women?
Yes.
Do you think that it's easy for men to be perceived, as leaders, as power figures, more, maybe people can easily detach how they look from their achievements as opposed to women? Do you think it's different? Do you think the metrics are different when it comes to
I do. Whether we think it's fair or not is a conversation for another day. But I do think it's different. I think men are able to show up in a room and it's a lot easier for them to deliver their message because society says, I listen more to what a man says, right? I listen to the message and I can blot out their physical appearance because society says that's how we've grown up, deferring to the male voice and the male opinion. Okay, so from a female perspective, we always want to lead with, you know, our intelligence and you know what the value we bring to the room, but it can be harder for us to deliver our message and be impactful. And I think, again, society always looks at the female as the pretty one. We need to look at the outward aesthetic, and we're judged on that, right? Whether we like it or not, we are judged on our outward aesthetic. And that's why it's more important for women than men to understand these strategies and start to deploy them.
Interesting. So ladies, you heard that one. The truth is the metrics, they're different for...
They're skewed. They're skewed. I don't care what anybody says. The metrics are skewed.
Of course. But then again, I think it's also an opportunity for us to leverage something, right? It's an opportunity for us to leverage our appearance as a tool. So I don't see it as a disadvantage in
it's not I don't see it as a disadvantage, right? I really don't. So I would give an example of, you know, yes, okay, so we may not view the male, you know, physical appearance as important, but what is important from a male perspective is the male network, you know, still out on the golf course, right? Out in the men's clubs, right? So they use those as tools to drive their careers forward. So it's done in many different forms, but still, you know, we can leverage our appearance to help us, you know, drive our careers forward. It's that's my opinion anyway. I'd really be interested to see what this audience thinks about that one. That one is controversial.
Ladies,
that's controversial.
There are lots of comments.
I can't see the comments right now.
I agree, the metrics are skewed. Karen says Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is continuously bashed for her fashion or lack thereof. So in Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, I think she's currently, is she still the president of the, is it what's that, the World Bank?
And she's what? She's bashed
World Trade Organization, exactly.
Right. And what is she, quite flamboyant in her dress?
Oh no, she's very plain, very woman next door.
And exactly, you see,
and that's something she's judged. It's something that she's judged.
She's judged on it. And the Prime Minister of Germany, right? I think she's now stepped down. Angela Merkel, right? She was always very plainly dressed, you know, very drab suits. And they commented it on it all the time. It detracted from her message so much. So we have to utilize these tools to ensure that we are at the front, our value is being seen, and we are able to deliver the message that we need to deliver in our corporate spaces.
Of course, super important. Ladies, I hope you are taking notes. We're going to be leaving room for questions, but I hope you are taking notes because our guest is dropping gems.
I'm really passionate about this stuff, right? We need to do all we can to make sure that we are at the front of the line in terms of our careers, because we are powerful and intelligent women. So we've got a lot to offer.
Definitely, I second that, Mandy. So what would you say, Mandy? Do you think that self-perception could influence other people's perception of us? Is that something, I know you touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but I would want you to expatiate on that, because I would think that if, for example, or someone would think that if, for example, you know, there's the concept of fake it till you make it as well.
Yes.
So if, for example, maybe I don't even feel as great. Maybe I just want to fake it, right? Maybe I just buy something expensive, and I think, and I try to mask whatever inadequacies that I have within me, hoping that what I have on would influence how people perceive me. What would you say to that? Do you think that's something that's possible to do? Does it work?
No, I would say it's a false economy. A false economy. Let's be really clear. A false economy. Let's be really clear. These tools are in addition to everything else that you bring to the table, not as a substitute for value, for leadership skills, for excellence, right? It's in addition, not a substitute for. So it's great to, as it says on the screen, it's great to strategically present yourself in a way that leads to a positive perception. You may want to wear, more formal suits, right? To feel more authoritative, right? You may want to role model of from others, or wear expensive clothes, whatever it is. But you also need to bring value into the room. Otherwise, again, you will be seen as misaligned and your integrity will be questioned.
Ladies, are you taking notes? Are you taking notes? So if you do not feel like it inside, if you do not believe in yourself, if you don't have that confidence that comes from within, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that you put on. And I always say this as well.
Yeah.
Even when I'm working with clients, right? And that's why with style, the first step is always mindset.
Always the mindset. Has to be the mindset.
Of course, it's always the mindset. And I think it's not just with style, with any aspect of transformation. If you are seeking transformation in any aspect in your life, start from the mind. If you have not fixed the mind, every other thing is a band-aid solution.
I completely agree, right? And what you'll see is, that game where you pull, Quango, where you pull the pieces out, right? You'll start to see it collapse because you haven't done the inner work, the mindset work to set a really strong foundation.
And the Bible even says it. If the foundation, if the house is not built on a solid foundation, then when the wind comes, it's going to knock it off.
There you go. So, we need to do all the things, right? All the things, but it's understanding these strategies that are going to help you feel more confident, help you forge your way, and understand where to apportion your time. Right? Where do I, it could be that your style is, you know your style. You understand how you want to dress in the corporate world or in your lifestyle, yet you're questioning your leadership ability, your leadership skills, how you manage your team, your empathy. Then do the work where it is needed. Okay, and then you will see the full picture come into view.
Oh, interesting. Thank you so much, Mandy. I loved what you said. It's an addition.
It's an addition.
Not a substitute. It's an addition, not a substitute. Definitely. So ladies, when you are thinking about your style, when you're thinking about presenting yourself powerfully, it's not the end all be all. If you haven't done the inner work, and that's why sometimes working with a coach is super helpful.
Yeah.
And I found this to be true, Mandy, in my personal journey. There are things that, even though you hear them, they just fly past you, right? They just fly past you. They just don't sink in.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when you work with someone who has trod a certain path,
yes,
right, and they tell you, this is my experience. This is how you should go. This is how it works. I don't know, for some reason, it just there's a light bulb that just comes on, and you think, why wasn't I grasping this concept?
Because a coach can bring the theory, right, and they can bring the practical to you to help you know and understand how to implement. And the most important thing that a coach usually will bring for you is accountability.
Exactly.
Right. Accountability. When it gets a little bit hard, when it's, oh, well, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to wear that, I don't feel confident in that, they help you step through the limiting beliefs to get to the other side. The accountability is key in any transformation, as you say, Oleri.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mandy. The next thing I would want to ask is, we often hear about the concept of first impressions.
Yes.
And first impressions are formed in the first 30 seconds of someone even meeting you, right?
Yeah.
Someone already forms an opinion of you, and you don't even have to speak.
Yeah.
They form an opinion based on what they see. And there's something I like to quote from the Bible. Do you know the Bible says that you can tell, in the book of Proverbs, the Bible says that you can tell a foolish man just by the way he walks? You know that? How crazy.
Those first visual cues.
Oh my
they
God.
Tell you, right?
Honestly, the Bible says you can tell a fool. How?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Christian here, I want you to really let that sink in.
Yeah.
The Bible says that you can tell a fool by the way that he walks.
Yes.
It's crazy.
So true. Yeah.
And there's this story as well in the Bible where I can't remember, I've forgotten most of my Bible stories, but God soldiers to go to war.
Please go on mute, ladies.
So God was going to pick soldiers to go to war. And do you know the test that God gave them? God told the general, I can't remember if it was Joshua, I can't remember who it was, to take them to the river bank and have them, Gideon, thank you so much, Eunice, someone knows her Bible, take them to the river and let them drink water. Those that bowed down to drink water like dogs, God said, remove those people. Those people are not worthy. So what this tells me, because as a Christian, there's so many, I think the Bible is one of the most comprehensive books because the Bible has lessons for every single thing. So if God understands that, if God understands and knows that, the way we act, the way we move, the actions we take, the way we present ourselves, it doesn't just fall from anywhere. It comes from somewhere. It comes from somewhere, and it comes from somewhere within. So if you, like you said, if you don't feel adequate, if you have feelings of inadequacies, if you don't feel confident, that is going to show. Mandy, I have never seen a confident person with shoulders like this and their face down, right? It just doesn't happen. When you see a confident person, you know a confident person because they look like a confident person. Right? Mandy, you're muted. Because they look like it. So back to you, Mandy, back to the question.
Yes.
So I want to know how our first impressions formed and what we wear, is it really a part, can it form part of that first impression that someone would have of us?
Yeah, and I think, yes, I think the answer is yes, it will definitely form part of the first impression. But let's be really clear that first impressions are not just about what we wear. It's about how we walk. It's about how we shake a hand. It's about the body language, right? Verbal and non-verbal body language. It's the overarching persona of who you are. And as you pointed out, Olere, slopey shoulders, sitting, as if you're disinterested, swinging on a chair. All of those are verbal and visual cues that are formed as part of someone's perception of you. So this is where you need to be really, really clear about managing every aspect of your brand and persona. every aspect, because it isn't just about having the latest shoes on or anything like that. It is so much more than that. Why has it gone darker? Can you see that it's darkness? It's darker?
No. It looks fine.
Okay.
Interesting. So, ladies, you heard that. It's not just about the clothes you wear. It's about how you wear the clothes. That's
yeah.
It's about how you wear them. Your clothes
Yes.
shouldn't wear you. You wear the.
Yes.
So if you don't feel that confidence, if you don't have that power about you, and this is where it's really important, especially as women in leadership. Leadership starts first. You know, we're talking about how everything starts first from here. It's the same thing with leadership. Leadership starts first from here. If you cannot lead yourself, how can you lead someone, right? If you don't have this self-governance, if you cannot hold yourself accountable in certain things, you know, we talked about having a coach, and that's a form of accountability for yourself.
Yeah.
Mandy, do you know what I did? There was a time, and you know, it's something that's common with women that are overachievers.
Yes.
And I think sometimes it has something to do with our upbringing. You know, I was brought up in a way that my father's second position was never good enough for him. So if you come second, he would ask you if the person that came first has two heads. And you know, that subconsciously breeds this overachiever kind of drive in you. And sometimes you find that you want to do everything by yourself. So even when it came to me getting help, when it came to me hiring people, I found that I had a problem with that, because I felt no one could match up to my capabilities. And I found that even though I knew how to do so much, I knew how to do a lot of things, but I wasn't efficient because I was trying to do so many things. And I'm just one person with two hands, right? I'm just one person with two hands. So I find myself procrastinating.
Yes.
I find myself procrastinating until I got help, until it's a form of accountability. I said, you know what? I have to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I know left to me, I might procrastinate.
Yes.
So let me get someone that's good at this as well. And, you know, I pay them for their time, and I can put my time into more resourceful things.
Yes.
So I find that, I don't know if it's something you can as well, if it's something that you can speak on.
Yeah.
For women in leadership.
And I think your example is great, right? And I think as well, it's especially for women, we're used to doing everything. We're used to doing all the things, right? And a lot of us, our value is tied up in doing all the things. So separating ourselves from certain tasks sometimes appears to us as failure, right? But if I'm not doing that anymore, I failed at it. I'm not good at it. How are people going to perceive me? But the mindset shift that we need to attach ourselves to is that delegating, allowing others to come in and support you, means you accelerate your journey. You accelerate your path to success. You move faster. Okay, so I think that's the mindset shift that a lot of us as women struggle with, because we feel that we have to and should do it all.
I agree with you, Mandy.
Yeah, but I'm where you are, Olere, because I've come through that, right? I'm not doing all the things by myself anymore because it's hard. It's tiring.
Hard.
Yeah, it's tiring.
Oh my God.
You know, and what it also does, it lets other people off the hook. Okay, so if you are in your corporate spaces doing all the things, showing up when others should be stepping forward, think about it, because you're allowing them to step back, and you are causing yourself to just be, you know, trodden down, worn down. But, you know, others are sometimes flying on your coattails. So allow others to step forward and take the responsibility with you.
And I also like to tie that even into style, how we present ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, Mandy, some people think that style is something that should just come to me naturally. The truth is, style is a skill.
Yeah.
It's a skill. It's not something that you're born with. I find sometimes some people are so hard on themselves. They feel like I should be able to do this. I should be able to do this. It's simple. But from what we've talked about, we know that it doesn't just end with the physical, with the clothes that you wear.
It doesn't. And I think that, oh, I'm a woman, I should know how to put an outfit together. That again, it's about societal, influences that says we look a certain way, we play around with makeup, we should know how to do this, just like knowing how to, I don't know, have a baby. No, it's strategy. Even style has strategy. It's steps, right? I'm sure with your services and clients you work with, Oleri, same with myself. We work through strategy and steps to get to the point. It's all about learning. So, and if you don't have the confidence, then you reach out to people who can teach you and help you on that journey and keep you accountable.
Ladies, please, if Mandy is dropping gems, I want you to just drop that fire emoji, because Mandy is...
Drop the fire emoji, ladies. Come on.
Drop the fire emoji. If you're feeling this, please drop the fire emoji. Drop the fire emoji.
So much. We've gone into so much this
fire.
Yeah, it's really important stuff, right? And thank you, Oleri, for bringing together this great forum. Everyone is very privileged to be in the room to hear what's going to happen over the next 5 days.
Oh, we have so many fire emojis.
Yes.
So many fire emojis. Well done, ladies. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. So, Mandy, the next thing I would want to ask you is, I know someone here would be wondering, you talked about the concept, we talked about the concept of perception.
Thank you. What is
about, let me mute them. Mandy, you would have to unmute yourself, because
mute everybody, mute them all.
Okay. So, Mandy, you talked about the concept of perception and how putting on something doesn't really change how you feel inside, right? If you don't feel like the woman, like the gem, like the expert, like the power woman that you are, there's nothing you wear on the outside that would fix that. But I would also like to know, is it possible, and I know someone here I'm asking for someone here that might be thinking this, is it possible for clothing to actually affect how we see ourselves? Can what we wear boost our confidence? Or is it just the other way around? Is it that we have to first be confident before we put on, that power outfit, that amazing outfit? Or can what we wear actually improve how we see ourselves? Can it make us feel confident?
Yes.
Mandy, you're muted. Please unmute.
It keeps doing it. Sorry. Definitely. And that's the self-perception theory that, if I dress a certain way, it will help me to feel confident because others will see me that way. Right. So it definitely has an effect. But I think we've touched on the part that says that's not everything. You have to add more to the pot, right, when you're cooking up the spice. So yes, it can be a start of the journey, that self-fulfilling prophecy that says, well, I'm gonna wear the power suit, right? I'm gonna wear the color that says I'm a leader, I'm authoritative and whatever. And yes, that does have an effect on your confidence. So do all those things, yes, but you have to make sure that the foundation is set, okay, for it to work. So yes, in answer to your question, there is definitely a school of thought and theories around the fact that if you dress a certain way, it will enable you to feel a certain way. And I think also just on the screen there is around another theory around called the halo effect, which I think is a really important one to just touch on, because the halo effect is where people see you as a certain, not thing, but they see you dressed in a certain way, or you show an outward persona, and that has an effect on all the other things that you do. So, for example, you could be showing up at your office every day, looking great, speaking the part, etc., and people will automatically think that you have great qualities in other areas of your life, that she looks the part, right? So she must be intelligent, she must be competent, she must be trustworthy. Yeah. So please don't think that it's just about putting on a jacket or putting on a skirt and then your job's done. These things are ground in our psychologies as human beings, and every one of us leans into these theories, leans into these ways of perceiving, and it's how society works.
Facts, Mandy. And you know what they say? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
There you go. Play the game. Play the game.
Play the game.
Play the game.
Play the game. And you know, it also and I think as women, we can learn from this in all areas of our lives, actually. Even when we say we live in a patriarchal society, yes, we do. I'm not going to argue that. But instead of looking at things from the victim mentality, you think, how can I leverage
what I have? How can I leverage my skills? How can I leverage, you know, how I dress, how I show up, you know? And why would you not? You know, I'm hoping we're going to have, I'm hoping we're still going to have some time for some questions, because I'm really interested in what the audience here has to say. Why would you not lean into some of these strategies and tools to help you on your journey?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mandy. I have a lot written here, actually, so pardon me if you see me bending down to write. So the next thing I would want to ask or hear your opinion about, Mandy. You know, we're on the subject of perception.
Yes.
And we know the brain processes visual cues, right? The brain sees something and interprets it.
Yes.
So how would you say when it relates to clothing now? Now this is going psychological, and I know that's your field. So how quickly are perceptions formed based off of just what we wear? How quickly
just what we wear?
Yes. How quickly can judgments be formed? And also, do you think that what we wear can influence how people perceive us, even when it comes to our competence, when it comes to our leadership? Do you think what we wear has a role to play in how people perceive our confidence, our leadership skills as women?
Yes. And I think that I completely do think that is accurate. And I think for the ladies in the room, it's a very easy litmus test. The litmus test is when you walk into a room and you see, just bear with me, O'Leary, I need to just plug in my charger. Wait 1 second. 1 minute.
Ladies, I hope you're taking notes. Please just write your questions down on a piece of paper or something. We would
apologies for that.
10 minutes, something to take questions. Okay.
So when you walk into a room and you see people, how do you judge them? How do you judge them? I think that's the litmus test. What do you look at? Because it can be the minutest thing that is picked up on. So for example, you ask Valeria, what kind of things can skew your view of someone or your judgment of someone? It can be a hem of a skirt dropping down, right? Clothes that aren't maybe, you know, cleaned as much as they should be, disheveled hair, right? Makeup that's not as precise as it could be. There are many things that can connect in our heads that says that person's not a leader, or that person's not as astute as I thought they were. Just going back to that story that I told about the leader who walked, you know, around COVID, she nailed it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything was in alignment. Okay, so for me, this question is all about the details, because it's the details that let us down sometimes. So, the hem, the hair that's not been necessarily combed or coiffed the way it should be, those kind of things. You know what? I'm going to make a confession here. One of the things that is my own bugbear that I am guilty of are nails that are not manicured and not presentable. And sometimes that is me. That is my confession. But
of course, that happens sometimes, sure.
People judge us on those kind of things, the small details. So it's, the small things are important things.
And I like what you said, Mandy, because sometimes, in fact, more often than not, it's about the small things, right? And if you are a professional woman here, maybe you're in the C-suite, maybe you're a corporate leader.
Yeah.
Even if you're not in corporate as well, maybe you're a leader in, maybe you're a coach or consultant, like I and Mandy are. One thing that can very much take away from, from your authority as a woman in leadership is ignoring the detail.
Yeah.
It's always in the detail.
It's in the detail.
And that's why, and Mandy would agree with me on this, when creating, when helping clients refine their style, it's also about giving them that polished look. Because let's think about the most put together people that we know. It's about the tiny little things.
Yeah.
It's about the tiny, it's that their clothes, the seams are, the seams are woven in perfectly. There's no thread hanging out. There's no free end. Their outfit is properly pressed, right? It's neat. It's always dry cleaned. It's always ironed. It's never rumpled or tacky.
Exactly.
So it's all about.
But let's be clear. That's not about money and expense. That's not about luxury.
At all.
Okay. It's about the details. Okay. And paying attention to them because it pays dividends.
Interesting. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you. Where's my fire emoji? Please, fire emojis.
Where's those fire emojis?
Drop those fire emojis. Mandy's dropping fire, literally fire. Yeah, I thought I'd lost my voice, but see me, Mandy's hyping this. Thank you so much, Mandy. Wow, we've learned so much, and I believe everyone here can attest to the fact. So, Mandy, someone might be here who has perhaps reached a certain height in her career.
Yes.
Maybe she's in the C-suite. Maybe she's even on a board, right? So she's reached a reasonable level in her career.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's even successful as a businesswoman. Maybe she has like a 7-figure business. Maybe she's really successful. And now she's thinking, what next? So she's looking more maybe to impact. She's looking more to impact. So for such a woman, for that particular woman, how can she use her style as a tool? How can she use her clothing, her appearance as a tool to create impact at that level?
Yes. And I definitely had a slide in my deck. So I'm probably going to stop sharing and just find it while I talk to the question, because I think it's an important one. Okay. And, when I was researching in terms of some of the things that we would talk about today, this one kind of resonated with me because that's me, right? I kind of got to a certain point in my career where I wanted to do other things. You want to step into other spaces. And sometimes it's just not that easy. But what I would say is it's about creating an overarching brand. Okay, this is about your brand management, and it's not just about the clothes. It's how you show up. It's how you speak in the room, what you wear, and also about how you show up on social media. Okay, so I just need everyone just to be really clear that if you're looking to create a brand outside of your corporate space, it can be impactful, but you need to incorporate many different things to be able to get to where you want to be. I can't find the slide. I think I deleted it. But you know, also what I would say is that if you are at a space where you want to create a different kind of journey for yourself, leverage your organization to do that. Because a lot of organizations are looking for their individuals in-house to be more than just an employee. Creating a brand that transcends your organization is an asset for your organization. Okay, so don't feel limited by, you know, your corporate space. Look at it as a catapult to be able to do other things. Yeah, and in creating your brand, it means you stepping a little bit outside of the limitations of your organization, because most organizations will have a corporate feel, right? In terms of how you feel comfortable to show up. But I believe creating a brand that goes past that is about dressing slightly differently from the people in your organization, right? Having a different kind of swagger about you because you are bringing more value to the table. And then it's how you align that brand with whatever you want to do. The speaker in you, the coach in you, the businesswoman in you. It's about aligning that brand to that as opposed to your organization. Yeah. And I think if you talk about specifics in terms of, you know, what you wear, I think it's bringing in more color, right? I think it's bringing in more uniqueness around your brand. Yeah. Things that speak more to your personality than it does to I'm corporate ABC employee. Okay. So I think, yeah, as you create your brand, it's about being more unique and stepping beyond the confinements of your organization, even if you're still working there, right? You know, a brand needs to say more for you than maybe where you are right now.
Interesting. I like what you said about creating a brand, because at the end of the day, and everyone might not realize this, but whether you like it or not, you are a brand. Whether you realize it or not, you are a brand. Yes. But the question is, are you intentional about the brand that is you?
Yeah.
Are you intentional about that? I find that when it comes to maybe business, for example, someone can associate branding with business. Why do we know Coca-Cola when we see Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola has a strong brand. But I find that when it comes to ourselves, it's very easy for us to not see ourselves in that way. If you can see a product as a brand, how much more you, a whole, full and complete human being, you are an even more powerful and influential brand. Yeah. And how you choose to portray that. And I like what Mandy said. What Mandy just dropped a gem there. And I'm hoping that you smart ladies caught on that. She actually dropped a gem there. She gave you a tip. That's something that you would pay a coach for, literally. When you're working in an organization, it's about having a niche for yourself so that she talked about being valuable to your organization, but even beyond being valuable to your organization, it's even being valuable beyond your organization. So that you can leverage on that, right? You can leverage on that brand.
Yeah.
So you might be here, you are maybe in the C-suite, you're in a level of leadership at work. You can create a personal brand, especially online. These days, social media is currency. Social media is currency, and it's not cheap money, it's not cheap currency.
Yeah,
social
it opens
media
doors. It opens doors.
Oh my God, it's actual currency.
Yeah.
And that is why the concept of perception is more important now than it has ever been.
Yeah.
Right? Because 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was no social media, right? You were only known to your organization, to people around you. But look at us here. There are people from all over the world on this summit. There are people from all over the world.
And it was frowned upon. It was frowned upon, Olere, right? Organizations would never allow you to be speaking on stages and speaking to other organizations, right? That we were confined to loyalty. So let's not miss this opportunity that we have to broaden our own brand and leverage it. Yeah. And what I would say is that there is an element of confidence that is required, definitely, to be able to build a strong brand outside of your organization, because your organization is probably a comfort blanket for you. But that's why you utilize the skills of a coach, right? Someone like Olere who can help you define your brand, that will open those doors and opportunities for you.
Thank you so much, Mandy. Thank you. Someone might be thinking, when it comes to, I like that you spoke on branding, so I would want to tie that into this. Someone might be thinking, when it comes to branding, if I'm trying to build my personal brand, what are some of the mistakes that someone looking to build their personal brand can look out for? Because now we've talked about the concept of perception.
Yeah.
Now it's tied with personal brand. So someone here is trying to build their personal brand. They want people to have the right perception of them. So what are some of the mistakes that they can avoid on that journey?
Okay, so if we're talking specifically about building a brand, right? I think the first mistake is just launching into it without the due diligence and the thought process around it. You've got to understand what kind of brand you need to create and what your purpose is. So are you creating a brand that will get you to the C-suite, for example, right? Are you developing a brand because you have a side hustle and you want to develop your business opportunities? Maybe you want to speak on stages. The strategy around building the brand will be different in each case. Yeah, you'll leverage different social media. You'll dress in different ways. You will build different skills depending on the objective of your brand building. I think another mistake that we make is that we do not take feedback well sometimes. Right? I think, if you're going to put yourself out there on social media especially, we need to be able to differentiate good and bad feedback. And when the feedback is good and it's constructive, take it on board and act upon it. I think sometimes, our egos let us down, right? And we feel that we can't take feedback, and also taking things personally when really people are just being objective and trying to help you and support you. Yeah,
I like that you brought that up, Mandy. I think someone here would want to know, what do you think is the reason why we find it difficult to take feedback, to take criticism, as what it is? Why do we get offended? What do you think?
I mean, there's going to be a few reasons, right? I think, especially if some of the women here are leaders in their spaces, they've seen themselves as excellent for a very long time, probably, right? They've been at the front of the line, they've been at the top of the shop, running the organization. Feedback becomes hard because I know all the answers, but no, we don't. I think that's been a...
Mandy, please unmute yourself, because I just muted everyone again.
I think that's been a really good leadership shift, probably since COVID. That leadership is now about bringing others to the table and taking feedback, being more collaborative. Okay, so that's one of the reasons I think that we don't like to take feedback, is because we feel that we're too good, right? Or we're the leaders and we should be able to have all the answers. So it hits your ego differently when people are giving you feedback. I think when you're putting yourself out on social media, it's really quite challenging because you are very, very exposed. And I think you need to prepare yourself for people to come back and argue with you, comment, and those kind of things. So I think, again, that's a mindset shift that says everyone is entitled to their opinion, but that opinion does not doesn't necessarily just shape my opinion, right? I'm going to have to assess that and see how that changes what I say, what I do, etc., and take it in the how it was intended. So I think those are probably a couple of things that I would say as to why we're not able to take feedback very well. But it's quite a debilitating way of being, right? Because feedback, good feedback, it's like gold dust, right? So, take it and run with it. That's what I say.
Definitely. And I think, Mandy, it's still we can trace it back to the mindset again. I think sometimes why it's difficult, because I used to be that person, Mandy. I used to hate criticism so much. I think it's also because as women, we tie our self-worth to our capabilities. So if someone questions that, it's like they're questioning who I am. So it's like, am I a lie? Am I a joke?
Am
I a joke to you?
Yeah. And so it cuts really deep. That's where the mindset works. Starts to help you to differentiate and separate yourself from the feedback and see that objectively for what it is and not a personal attack.
Nice
so
one,
that's the work that needs to be done.
Nice one, Mandy. We talked about perception. We talked about style, clothing. Do you think, Mandy, that it is important? I know you're a style coach, so the concept of a signature style is something that you're very familiar with. This concept you're very familiar with. I want you to first talk on that. Talk about what a signature style is, and then I would like you to also educate our audience. Is a signature style really important? If you're a woman in leadership, is it important for you to have a signature style? Or, I mean, you can just put anything together as long as it looks good. What would you say to that?
So especially in leadership, a signature style is really important because what it breeds is relatability. It breeds confidence in you, that you are consistent. So all of these adjectives are derived from someone who has a signature style. Because I show up in the office every day and I'm going to change the color of my jacket. I might put on a different shoe this week or carry a different bag, but my signature style, you understand. And that's my shorthand in terms of how I communicate with you. Right? So I think the word there for me is about consistency and reliability. That is what it's telling people when they come into contact with you and your signature style every day. And just to take that a little bit further, if people are a little and if we're a little bit unsure about signature style, what all that means is it's a way of dressing that you have found to be really in alignment with who you are, really comfortable for you, that it looks good on you, it accentuates and flatters your shape. So I'd say my signature style, more often than not, you'll see me in a blazer. Tick. Right? More often than not, I'll have a strong lip, a red lip, a pink lip, or whatever. Right? Yeah. You know, and I love wearing jeans and trousers and stuff, right? So I think in the office, I've definitely got a signature style. There'll always be something a little bit different in terms of whether it's the color of the jacket, whether I've like used sandwich styling to complement colors within my outfit, but that is my signature style. You know what you're going to get 9 times out of 10, and it says a lot in terms of your leadership style.
So what can our signature style communicate as female leaders? What do you think someone can get from just from us just having
a signature style? Yeah, the things that I said at the beginning, it communicates to your team, to your organization, people who come into contact with you, that you are reliable. Why? Because what I'm seeing every day, remember, what we see every day is what we gravitate towards. So me seeing that someone dresses consistently means they are consistent. I can rely on them. I can trust them with the organization. I can trust them with my career if they're leading me. So it speaks to your leadership skills if you have a signature style. And also what it also does, especially depending on how you deliver that signature style, it talks to your personality. Yeah, very much so. It talks to your personality. So like I said, I'll usually have a color on, right? I'll have a complementary colored belt to go with my shoes, whatever it is, but it speaks to my personality that maybe I'm more playful or more less rigid, less formal. It's the shorthand. It's the shorthand that says this individual that I'm dealing with, and helps me to get to know that person faster. Right? It helps bridge gaps as well, I think. And just talking about it now, it's so important. It bridges gaps. When you walk into a room, for example, if you are walking in as a speaker, before you've even opened your mouth, people have made an assumption about you because of how you are dressed. And depending on what you chose that day, they will think that you are intelligent, they will think that you are approachable, that you have integrity, that you're fun. Whatever adjective you want to use will have been derived from what you are wearing.
From what you're wearing. Thank you so much, Mandy. Mandy, someone has a very interesting question. I know we said we'll give time for questions, but I think this is very important.
Yes.
Rhoda says, doesn't that also scream boring, a signature style? And I know other people might be having the same thought. Doesn't it seem boring to just have a signature style?
Yeah, good question. But if you go back to what I said, bringing in the uniqueness and your own personality into that signature style, I think that's where you step away from boring and you step into your personality. So that is, in 2024, I do not believe that corporate spaces should have us in, straitjackets. We're all in the blacks. We're all in the black suit with kitten heels and small earrings and whatever. No. So your signature style can bring in color. It can bring in unique pieces of jewelry. Glasses are a great way to extend your personality. Yeah, with different colors, different hues, whatever. So I hear what you're saying, but I think signature style is not about being boring. It's about being unique to you and giving people a way to get closer to you and understand you more without even you having to say a word.
Okay. Mandy seems frozen.
Oh, am I?
Can
Olera is frozen to me. Can you hear me? Oh dear. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear you.
I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Can
It
I,
should be from
can,
Olere.
can you
I
see
can
me
hear
now? Am I
you.
mute?
I think Oyere is frozen.
Yeah, Olere is frozen. Okay. So while she comes back, any questions? Anybody want to unmute and ask a question or drop it in the chat? Wow, I didn't even see all these messages in the chat. You guys have been talking.
Mandy, I have a question,
Yes,
please.
Karen.
Thank you so much for the session so far.
No problem.
How do we distinguish personal style from charisma, um, like having your own brand and all of that? I
Yeah.
think it's a bit of a gray area. There was a question I asked, but it wasn't responded to. I don't know if I can find
So
it.
how do
It
you
was
differentiate charisma from personal style, from actually what you're
and
wearing?
yes,
So-
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So for me, charisma is more innate to who you are. I think it's less about your style and more about the verbal and non-verbal cues. It's how you know, there's always that person that walks into the room that kind of lights everyone up, right? That says the right thing at the right time, that shakes everybody's hand, that's cheery, and you know, that's charisma, because you have worked out how to engage everyone in the room. And that's someone who is very emotionally intelligent. I don't know if we know that terminology, but being emotionally intelligent means you can tap into the emotions of others like that, which means then you know what to say, you know how to say it. So it's not something you can do overnight, Karen. It really isn't. But it's not about style. It's more about how engaging you can be. And I think there are definitely things you can do to improve that, in terms of smiling more, shaking hands. You know, if you're in a crowded networking room, going over and saying hello to someone who maybe is you know, on the sidelines, right? It's about being more engaging and working out how to make a connection. That's the word I'm looking for. Make a connection with people. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem. Anything else? So Amibola says, I never saw charisma this way. Charisma, you know, all of these things are really important. They really are, because it allows you to make connection with people. And those connections are what get you the opportunities, that get people, you know, sponsors saying, oh, I'm going to help you get into that room or get that promotion. Rosalind, you have a question. Unmute yourself, please.
Thank you so much, Mandy. It's been an amazing section. My question is, earlier we talked about being comfortable in our style, in our clothing, and who we want people to see, like in our projections or presentation.
Yes.
And we also talked about people like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who has a particular style, and people are
Hi, everyone.
fashion.
So sorry.
No worries, Olori. Carry on, Rosalind.
Okay.
My Wi-Fi just tripped off all of a sudden.
Going into the corporate space,
Okay.
where do I draw the line? The line between being comfortable in my style and what
Someone
the
asking a question.
Yes.
Society.
So where do you draw the line between your own style and
the organizational style or standard, or what society has projected? For example, going into corporate spaces, probably they'll say you should put on things like heels, you need to look corporate, and maybe that's not really my thing. Like putting on heels is not really my thing.
Yeah.
So how do I draw the line? Where is the line, especially for people in corporate spaces?
Yeah, great question. Great question. And I think post-COVID, this is something that people have definitely battled with, right? And I'm the same, because listen, I don't like to wear heels anymore, really. I don't wear heels very much. If I'm going to wear it for half an hour, then it's coming off. So what I would do, and what I would suggest you do, is find those things, your non-negotiables. Okay, so if heels are your non-negotiable, then substitute that with probably a white trainer, a loafer, something that's low but still corporate, right? And then you do all the other things that your corporate is asking you to do. So it's about, I'm going to step outside of these guidelines a little bit. I'm going to color outside the lines, but you can still see me as a corporate person because I still have my suit on. I still show up a certain way, but I'm not going to align to all of these things because you know what, Rosalind, we are all our own personalities. And I don't expect, I mean, there's going to be, you know, there are certain organizations and careers where you will be dictated to in that way, but you shouldn't be dictated to down to the nth degree. So I would say find that line by introducing pieces of your own personality, the brogue, the low trainer, you know, you keep it corporate, you keep it professional, a white trainer in the office, a low dark colored brogue or loafer, it does the same thing. So I hope that helps. You know, I'd probably want to talk to you more in terms of what other things that your corporate space is asking for, but I think it's introducing different things, you know, small pieces that are going to help you walk that fine line.
And to add to that too, Mandy, I think it still boils down to what we previously said before my Wi-Fi tripped off. It's also crafting that signature style for yourself.
Yes.
And I think I missed the part where you concluded on the question I was previously asked about when someone was saying if that wouldn't seem boring.
Yes, we talked about, it's a similar thing, right? You inject your piece of your personality into it. It doesn't have to be, gray and boring.
It's not when you hear signature style, it doesn't mean you wear the same thing every single day.
Exactly. It's more a signature style to me is more about proportions. It's more about the foundational pieces. Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm not necessarily an office dress girl. I'm more a blazer and trouser girl. That kind of thing, right? There's a few questions, Olere. Do we want to go through the questions now? I know Rhoda's got her hand up, and there's.
Well, I think we'll have time for that. I just want us to conclude, and then
we'll come to Rhoda.
Yes, and then we'll definitely take questions because I know there's a lot of questions, so we're definitely going to take questions. But just to add to the signature style that we were talking about, you know, when we just started the topic, someone said, Olere always wears red lipstick. Red lipstick is her signature style. But the truth is, I don't always wear red lipstick, right? I mostly wear red lipstick, but I don't always wear red lipstick. But someone could identify that with my brand because it's something that I mostly do. So it doesn't mean you have to wear this
all the time,
dress a certain way every single time. Another of my signature style is big hair. You would often find me in big hair. So I have big hairs in different shapes and forms, but it's mostly big, right? So signature style could be straight hair, but it doesn't mean you must always wear straight. You could wear the different ways to style the straight hair too, right?
Yeah.
So your signature style, bringing that unique twist, is bringing that personalized twist, making it yours. So it's not just about wearing something repeatedly.
Yes. Love it.
What I forgot to do this. Please, guys, do you know what I want you to do? Take a screenshot of your screen, post on your stories, tag me, tag Adeola Radio. Udeme, put my Instagram, put Mandy's Instagram. Please tag us. We want people to know that something big is happening here. Let's pepper those people that are missing right now. So please take a screenshot and Udeme, please leave my Instagram, leave Mandy's Instagram on leave Mandy's Instagram on the chat so people can
connect with me, ladies. Let's carry on the conversation.
Please tag on Instagram tag on Instagram so people can see what we're about here. Okay. Okay. All right. So please tag. So be sure to repost every single.
We'll repost. We want to see those tags and just connect.
Yeah, make sure you repost as well. Repost on my page. Repost everyone. Everyone tagging. Repost everyone tagging. Okay. So I want to ensure that we touched on every single thing. Let me check my notes. Let me be sure that I am not missing any.
Olere, some people are saying they're not on Instagram.
Oh, okay, it's fine. No problem. If you're not on Instagram, it's fine. If you are on LinkedIn, I don't know if LinkedIn is not my forte.
Yeah, it's not. So, I'm over there, but it's not really my home right now.
Yes, same here. So we've talked a lot, Mandy. We've gone through so much. We covered perception, and we covered it in two parts: self-perception and the way others perceive us. We talked about things like authenticity. We talked about things like leadership persona. There's so much that
so much
that has been dissected here today, and I just want to say thank you so much, Mandy. It's such an honor to have you. Before we take questions, because I'm going to give room for questions right now. But before we take questions, I just want to quickly
take slippers outside.
To I don't know what's going on. Why I'm muting people, but what's happening? Okay.
It's a testament to your success, Olere. You have too many people on the bridge
Oh, I have to figure out how to make this thing work before our next session.
You're going to be really worn out by the end of the week.
honestly. So I know some of you might have questions, and some of you might even be wondering. Some of you here, like we said, they're leaders here. They're people that don't really have the time to figure out how to go about finding out certain things by themselves. I want to use this opportunity to invite you to a style challenge. I'm going to be hosting a 5-day style challenge just after this summit. After this summit, we're going to be hosting a 5-day style challenge. Now, what is the aim of the style challenge? If you're a woman in leadership who does not have the time to spend in trying to figure out, we talked about a lot of things, Mandy and I, we talked about so much, and I know lots of you have questions which we're going to attend to, but if you want to even take it further, someone says, Mandy, God bless you, Mandy. Oh my God, that's such a beautiful
thing. Bless you. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Take this further and have a total transformation in just 5 days. It's a very short time, 5 days, to get style transformation. I'll be handling things like face type, body type, how to curate your power looks. I'll be handling things like that in this summit. So if it's something that you're interested in, there are going to be 3 tiers. Udeme is going to leave more details about it. Udeme, please leave a link to that. The summit is actually starting next month, but the early bird is closing just after the summit, which is on the 14th. I think on the 14th, yes. The early bird is closing. So if you really want to dial in on that style that commands attention and respect, and you know you don't have time to waste, you just want something, you just want results quickly, then this is the challenge for you. It's 5 days, like I said. Please leave the link with them. We'll also send it to your emails and to your WhatsApp. And do you know what? Our guest Mandy is so kind. Mandy is so lovely. Mandy is so kind. That Mandy is offering a free resource to anyone that gets the signs up for the style challenge. There are 3 tiers, like I said. There's a general admission. The general admission is like 35,000 naira, which is about $45. Then there's the VIP admission, which is about $150 and 110,000 or so in naira. And then we have the platinum. So there are 3 tiers. Platinum is about $250, which is about 210,000 naira or so. So if you you just pick which of these categories you want to, they all have their benefits, their perks. Would leave the details. Udeme, please leave the link to the style challenge. Mandy is giving out a resource, essential style choices for professional women. It's a very, in fact, when I saw this, I was wondering, I was like, Mandy, how can you be giving this out?
Olere said, no, that's too much juice.
Oh my God, how can you be giving this out for free? This is something that she could charge. She could easily charge $100, $50 for. So
go and sign up, ladies. Go and sign up, and you'll get that in your hands. Get that. Go and do some more work.
Free. It's complimentary. It's complimentary, courtesy of our guest, rather, Mandy. So now that that's out there, let's take. I know we've spent a lot of time. This is 2 hours. But it just seems like time went by so fast.
I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
So information packed. Thank you so much, Mandy. So we're going to take a few questions now. So please leave your questions. Leave your questions in the chat, or if you would want to.
There's so many of them in the chat.
Yourself, you can unmute yourself and ask a question too.
Rhoda, let's hear from you.
Okay. Okay, someone said
can we go to Rhoda, Olere?
Okay. Let Rhoda. Chiroma, please, we'll come back to you.
Hi, Mandy, and thank you so much, Olere, for doing this. I wanted some little more clarification, and then hopefully Mandy can buttress on the gem she dropped regarding creating a brand, that transcends your organization, and you become more valuable. It struck me hard because, as a leader in my rights or in my organization, you are already so busy, or your plates are full with so many, things you do around the organization. And then it almost looks like creating a brand for yourself seems far-fetched. So you're very much invested in the organization already. So you begin to wonder, at what point do you now start building your brand? Then there's a part of loyalty, because you're always speaking for the organization, in the organization's best interest. So I wanted to, just get a little more clarity on how you could, wrap your brand around your organization and then becomes valuable. And then also, how do you deal with the difference? Maybe your organization is into one thing, and then your brand you're trying to build is into another thing. It would really be good to know how to, navigate through this.
Love it. Can I take that, Olere, first? Is that okay? So,
Mandy, please go ahead. Sure.
I've worked with a lot of women in corporate in this situation, right? And what I would say, first of all, depending on your organization, it can be a tricky road to navigate, first and foremost. But in terms of what you said about always thinking about the organization, that's where you're tunnel visioned. What I would encourage you to do, Rhoda, is to look up, right? Look up and start to think about you as an individual and what your aspirations and goals are, because your organization will always be there. And as we know, we are but a number a lot of the time. So please do not negate your own needs, wants, and aspirations because you are working for an organization, because you can align the two. And how you do that is, depending on the route you want to take, let me give an example. It's going to be the best way to do it. So I've worked with a client who works in HR and wanted to sort of start her own thing in terms of HR, right? So what she did was, first of all, had a conversation with her organization, which is very important, with her leadership, to say, I'm going to start putting out my own services. I'm going to start speaking on these things, but I will not be crossing over into your territory. So you need to define that line of demarcation. And in some organizations, that's a legal thing, right? They're going to want you to sign something to say you are not going to be speaking about the organization, right? So those are the kind of things you need to start to think about. And you just start to create your own path. And just, there's a question about whether you have 1 or 2 social media profiles. I don't think that's necessarily relevant here, but you just get started in terms of what you want to say, and just steer away from talking about your organization. So if this is your message, this is no longer, I don't know, XYZ Bank saying X. This is Rhoda saying, oh, I talk about banking things. I talk about, I don't know, leadership on the side. You can be a leader and talk about leadership to any audience you want to. Yeah. Your organization does not have the monopoly on leadership. So it's about defining where you want to go, what you want to talk about, creating that demarcation, making sure that your organization is okay with it. They may not be. And then that should be the start of your journey. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. You know, step forward with, you know, with courage, right? And pray on it. And it can be done. You just have to navigate the path of getting there. Did we want to go to the chat or Cynthia?
I hope that answered your question, Rhoda. Thank you so much for that question.
Very much.
Other people might have had
good stuff
as well. Do we have any other questions here?
Can I just say something else? I know a few people on social media who've done what you're talking about, Rhoda, very, very well. So reach out to me and I will give you their social handles, and then please, you can see how they've done it.
Mandy's Instagram. Udeme, please leave Mandy's Instagram.
Yeah, she's done it. But reach out to me, because those examples will show you exactly how to do it. They've done it beautifully and not compromise their corporate standing.
Okay, Gloria has her hands raised. Gloria.
Go for Gloria.
Yeah, good evening all, and thank you for the presentation. So mine is regarding, you know, people that work from home, basically.
Yeah.
How they also kind of like influence things based on their maybe dressing to influence their style. You have instances where you're discussing with colleagues across the globe that have never met you. You want to that impression, etc. So it'll be good to know how this works for remote workers.
Yeah. For me, I think your corporate style, how you dress in the office, to a certain degree shouldn't change when you're at home, if you are trying to continually influence and make an impression on your leadership and your colleagues, etc. But I would say is, although most of the week you may dress with, I work from home. I work from home. Today I was sitting, on my meetings in a blazer. It's fine, right? Because what it says to you, it says to other people, is that you are still in corporate, you are still professional, you still have respect for the corporate environment. That's what it says when you show up and you put makeup on and you don't just sit around in sweats all day and tracksuits, right? Because, and also what I'd say is that has a negative impact on your mindset and how you show up, your productivity. Okay. So I would say there's no reason why you can't sort of have a dress down day while you're working from home, where maybe you've got a tracksuit on, but 9 times out of 10, most of the week, let's put on a jacket, a blouse, brush our hair, put makeup on, and show up as if we were in the office.
Okay.
And Mandy, to add to what you said, it's about it's about influencing again. We're talking about the whole concept of perception.
Yeah.
And when you dress up, there's something that it tweaks in your brain.
Yeah.
It actually improves your own self-perception.
Definitely.
When we talk about even the concept of confidence, why do we lack confidence? In fact, I learned something so powerful recently. Said you lack confidence because you are the only one who has heard all the lies that you have told, right? You are the only one who has heard all the lies. So all the promises that you have broken to yourself, you are the only one who knows all of those promises. So it's the same thing when it comes to how you present yourself when it seems like no one is there.
Yeah.
When no one is there, when it's just me there, am I able to maintain the standard? Am I still able to hold myself up to a certain standard, to a certain regard? And this is what builds confidence. This is what builds authority. This is what builds that power from within.
Exactly.
So just before I was about to come on this call, I was getting dressed. I put on my pants, and my sister goes, "Who's seeing your legs? Why are you putting on pants?" I said, "Well, I'm not putting on pants for anyone. I'm putting on pants for me. This is what's going to make me feel good. What's going to make me feel confident."
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, it boils down to what it does for you. You want to feel good. You want to feel confident.
Because that has a knock-on effect to how you show up and your productivity. And let's be really clear, if we're dressing for leadership and influence, we want to be the standard and the one that stands out. Okay. While everyone else is in sweatpants, we want to be the people that the person that is remembered on that call for showing up in a professional manner.
Sure. Let's see. Our time is far spent. Please make sure you guys do not miss, ladies, do not miss tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session is going to be very, very interesting. We're covering a very interesting topic. We're covering executive presence tomorrow. So if you are a woman in leadership, executive presence is something that we don't joke with. Executive presence, how to craft a powerful personal brand. So we're going to dive deep. Our speaker, Kristen Johnson, is going to be diving deep into personal branding tomorrow. So same time, do not miss it. So Mandy, do you have 5 minutes for maybe 2 more questions?
Definitely. Let's do it.
Okay. All right then. Fisayo, I think your hand was up first. Fisayo, please go ahead with your question. Fisayo, unmute yourself and go ahead with your question. If not,
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
And thank you so much for this beautiful section. In fact, I'm just thinking how I can bring both of you down to my stage.
Where's your stage? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, Fisayo. Let's do it.
I'm so excited. It's like I just found a new mentors. I'm really enjoying this section. Okay, this is my question. I asked earlier in this comment section that is it possible to be confident in nonsense? I actually get a lot of compliment from people. I don't know whether it's a wrong perception from them. At times, people take me for a nurse, and at times people take me for a lawyer. At times, you will see some people who call me, "Oh, madam, I just came to your bank and my transaction was this." So I don't even know how to handle the issue around here. And I'm like, okay, am I being confident in nonsense? Like, am I not projecting myself well? How do I start explaining to people that, no, I'm not a banker, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a nurse? Because it comes a lot. So how do I handle that? How do I project myself in the right way?
Interesting. And are these people having a conversation with you, or they're just seeing these roles just by looking at your attire?
Just by looking at my appearance, just not like they can meet me at the market and say, oh wow, madam, I was at your branch today. So are you a banker? I said, no, I'm not a banker.
And what do you do, Kaya?
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I would do with real estate and all, but I just love fashion.
Nice.
I have a business line in fabric and all. So
okay.
I
don't know what you wear from day to day, but I suppose the first thing I would say, if you're an entrepreneur and you love fashion and you've got a business in fabric, then you should be like a peacock, right? You should be having all the colors, all the fabrics, and wearing all the things. One, to promote your business, and two, that would definitely stop people from thinking that you work in the hospital or the bank, right? So I would question.
I do, but I don't. Well, maybe it's the mental. That's why I want to bring you people down. Maybe I need to organize something towards the line so that.
Maybe there's a conversation to have offline to help help you understand what you're projecting versus where you need to change certain things. So
all right. I will appreciate that. I will appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Let me pronounce it correctly. Can you pronounce it for me, please?
Okay, thank you so much, Mandy. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so the name is Nkate Awaji. I get that a lot, so you can just call me NK.
NK, thank you, NK. Good evening.
Thank you so much. So my question quickly is modest fashion.
Okay.
Okay, so is there a way to dress modestly, but modestly yet attractive and stylish? I mean, we want to show up dressing in a pleated skirt or maybe a jacket. Is there a way to do it so you don't look older than your age?
Yes. Yeah, I think I believe there is. I think that is a lot about the style of the clothes that you're wearing. So there are going to be cuts and of fashion that are more modern, right?
I'm listening to one program. Let me
at the moment, everybody's wearing a wide leg, right? I don't know if some of these styles are in, Nigeria's kind of embracing these styles as well, but everybody's in a wide leg, right? Linens in the summer, whether it's the oversized blazer. So I think for me, and Olera, I'll be interested to see what you think of this. It's more about embracing more modern styles that will keep you from looking older, but maintain your modesty.
Okay.
I think it's more about the proportion, it's the shape of things, the style of things that are more leading to the more modern, as opposed to things that we've seen in the last decade. For instance, skinny jeans, for example, which are kind of out at the moment. So those would probably date you, right? So I think it's definitely looking more at the modern styling.
Definitely. To add to what Mandy said, because I think it's an honest concern. I think it's an honest concern. No one wants to dress and look dated or look older than they are. So like Mandy said, it's all in how you combine your pieces, what you wear with what. So you're talking about a blazer and a pleated skirt. There's a way to wear a blazer and a pleated skirt that you don't look older.
Yeah, definitely.
So it depends on what kind of blazers are you wearing. Is it for your body type? And that's why when we talk about style, it's never one size fits all. It's never one size fits all. Is it
what colors are you wearing? Those kind of things as well. Color is very important.
Exactly. There are colors that you wear, and they add 10 years to your age, right? So luckily enough, we're going to be going into colors down the line. We have a color analyst as a speaker on, I think that's day 3 or day 4. I think one of the days. So we're going to be diving deep and talking about colors.
Yeah, but I hope that helps,
I hope it helps. I hope it helps, NK. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much. Thank you. This was a pleasant experience. Thank you so
Welcome,
much.
NK, and sign up for the style challenge
Sign
so
up
that
for the challenge.
Can get that answer.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So, Nuruddin, you can ask your question. I think this is the last question we're going to take.
I think that's the last question. Yes.
We're going to take this question last. So, Nuruddin, please
Go
ask.
for it, Nuruddin. Nuruddin, you still there?
Okay, maybe Nuruddin accidentally raised her hand.
Yeah, maybe.
I think, let me see if we have any questions in the comments. If not.
Oh, there are loads in the comments. I don't think we got to everything at all.
Please, before we log off, I just want to know, please leave in the chat what's one takeaway you had from today's session. Please leave it in the chat. I want to know one takeaway you had from today's session. Leave it in the chat. Mandy has come out and poured her heart out.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Her knowledge, everything she's poured out. So let's see, leave in the chat, what's one takeaway that you got from this session?
Yeah, what are you going to be implementing, guys?
Please, let's see that in the chat. Let's see that in the chat. Please prepare for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're covering executive presence. Like I said, please be on time because tomorrow is going to be fire. Connect with Mandy on Instagram. Her Instagram has been shared. Connect with me on Instagram. Visit the Style Challenge page so that you can get the free guide that Mandy is offering. Remember, it comes with the early bird package. If you do not sign up before the early bird is gone, you miss Mandy's package.
And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to miss the gems that I'm dropping in my free guide.
So much has been learned. Odeme, please screenshot these. We need these. Screenshot this. A brand needs to say more for you than where you are now. Exactly. Mindset is a strong foundation. Signature style. The recordings,
lovely.
We'll see if that will be available to be sent to your emails. Okay. Step past your organization's limitations. Sure, lessons learned.
There you go. Love that.
So much.
Importance of being a brand than operating as an employee or individual. Amazing. Well done,
thank you so much, Mandy. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we've come to the end of today's session. I'm so happy that all of you had this from this session. Thank you so much, Mandy. Thank you, everyone, for attending. To have a beautiful night's rest.
Have a good evening. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
No problem. Bye-bye now.
All right, then. Bye. Good night.
All right. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Mandy.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you, Mandy.